graced to leave the stage right now. So I'm going to put this lady onto the stage. Her name is Chantal David, and give her a warm round of applause as she comes to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm not Chantal, I'm Timothy Maurice. I want you guys, everybody to stand up real quick. Everybody stand up real quick.
I missed the warm-up this morning because it was so tight. I didn't sleep.
So I've been working with IPM to champion mind, body, power, champion health, and we're so grateful for the previous presentation because exercise is power. So I've been working with my colleague Chantal on creating a wellness program that looks at the neuroscience of wellness. I'm going to be speaking tomorrow about the neuroscience of personal branding, but we have introduced this concept that we're going to champion wellness at a very high level from a mind-body perspective. So you'll see throughout the day that Chantal is going to appear and she's going to take you through these phenomenal exercises. And in the morning, you can join her downstairs and she will give you the location. But over to Chantal, she's an extraordinary wellness coach and a fitness trainer. One more massive round of applause for Chantal.
Thank you so much. Good morning, IPM. How are we doing? Wow. I'm shocked. Good morning, IPM. How are we doing?
We are fine.
Wow, guys, come on. Where's the energy? Are we not excited?
Excited.
We are, right? As Timothy mentioned, I am a wellness coach and I am your personal trainer for this conference. So if you need anything health and wellness, I am here. Look for me, I'm the only person in gym wear. And you can ask me anything. I'm yours for this weekend. Thank you, Dr. Jerry Goulet, for having me here. And as my business partner Timothy mentioned, we have our very own wellness intelligence coaching programs that we are going to present to you. So, every day leading up to the last day, I am going to be up on stage helping you just, increase the blood circulation, get the oxygen to your brain so that you don't fall asleep while these amazing speakers are up here. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
Alright, first things first, I need you to breathe, right? In through your nose, deep breath in, out through your mouth. Again, in and out. In again and out. Two more. In. Feel it in your lungs and out. Last one, in and out. Very nice. Now, I want you to feel your body, right? Your feet are going to be firmly planted on the ground. Your hips are going to stay still. All you're moving is your upper body, side to side. Feel it in your core, side to side. Just move. How are we feeling? Get moving, get moving. Don't worry about who's watching you. Everybody should be doing this. 5 more.
That's nice.
4, 3, 2, and 1. How was that? It's a
Good.
weird way to get moving, but you don't necessarily do that movement, and that helps, like you're going to be sitting here the entire day. That movement helps you just feel a bit more energized. I'm going to do one more with you. Okay, arms to the side, watch me. Spread out, spread out. Right. Small forward circles with both hands. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take it back, opening up the chest. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to take it from the top, side to side. Let's move. Let's go for 10, 9, 8. Remember, you're keeping your hips still. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms to the side. Forward circles. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7. Might be breaking things. Your arms should be up. 4, 3, 2. Backwards one more time. Let's go. 10,
Thank you.
Okay, did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Nothing wrong with some exercise. Okay. So guys, currently on Slido I'm running a poll, and the poll is very simple. It is the poll where you rate the speaker before, which is Professor Mervyn, and then we'll run the second poll. So I will make a poll live after each speaker. Please do rate the speaker, and then of course your name and surname, I think, should also go in the rating. No. So just rate it for us so that we can get some sort of feedback. Okay, we need to push. Our next speaker, which I have the honor of bringing up, and the topic will be, which is a hot topic, leadership in the fourth industrial revolution, and they've got an acronym for it now, 4IR. Anybody not know what 4IR acronym is? Can stay here. She obtained a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Wits in South Africa, as well as a postgraduate degree in Business Management from Wits Business School. During a 21-year tenure at Unilever, Mechell. Sorry, that is Michelle's name. I thought that was like a degree that you get, like you get a Mechell, you know. She has worked in HR on leadership development, organizational effectiveness, culture transformation, and business partnering. She's gained a number of key achievements, such as the Unilever Global Compass Award for winning with people and the Business Partner Awards. Under her leadership, Unilever has been awarded the #1 top employer Africa status for the last 4 years consecutively. Apart from developing African talent, Mechell has hugely invested in youth employability, driving diversity and inclusion throughout Unilever, and living our USLP, everything she does. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates of the IPM, please welcome to the stage Mechell Chetty, the HR Vice President of Unilever Africa.
Thank you so much. I must say my name is spelled quite differently, so I don't actually blame people for getting it wrong. Often I don't get enough emails because people get the spelling of my name wrong there, so no fault of yours. Can I have the presentation up, please? So whilst that comes up, I must just tell you that when I was given the topic of leadership in the fourth industrial revolution, I was contemplating what is so different about leadership as it's been in our history. And I think it's not so different. So what you're going to see is not going to be rocket science, some miracle cure as how we're going to lead differently in the fourth industrial revolution. I think what we need to reflect on is what are we going to dial up? What are those leadership qualities that absolutely have to be dialed up in the fourth industrial revolution? Technology is really not on our side right now, and we're going to practice the sustainable goal number 17, which Dr. Mervyn King said was collaboration. So get the tech guy. Can you see my finger go up? If my finger goes up, I'm asking for the next slide, if that's okay. Good? Okay, so if you think about the future of work, and I hear this a lot, you hear about millennials. How many of you are actually working with millennials right now in the workplace? Quite a few hands up. How many of you are not millennials? Can I have hands up? I'm putting mine up. We are not millennials, right? And I always hear that what millennials want is they want empowerment, they want simplification, they want faster processes, they want development, and they want agility. Am I right? How many of you who are not millennials don't want the same thing? Don't you want the same thing? I certainly do. And so what's going to unlock that for us? Technology is going to do that. The idea behind machine learning, predictability, having things at a touch of a button, having artificial intelligence, thinking differently about becoming more local or using more agile ways of working and methodologies, redefining business models is actually what we're going into the future. I'm really excited about that. I know there's a lot to fear. And since this is a fearless leadership conference, I'm going to tell you, become fearless about it. People are getting so bogged down and so paralyzed by the fact that technology is going to take jobs. Actually, what we need to do is we need to embrace what the possibilities are, what this can actually unlock for us and what it can deliver for us. So actually, technology can unlock capacity. As HR professionals, almost on a day-to-day basis, I have leaders come to me saying, if only I had more resources, then I could do a whole lot. Do you get that a lot? And I'm saying you need to think very differently in order to do that. Next slide. So we need to think from constraints to abundance. I swear we didn't talk as presenters. You need to think with a mindset of you always have more. You know, I never really thought about the span of control in my team. I never thought about the organogram and who was actually in my team formally that I could ask to do work. I always felt that people belonged to my team when they were passionate about the same things that I wanted to achieve. And I saw their possibilities and they could give me 10% of their day. For me, they were in my team and we were doing something creative and we were doing something different to deliver. So for me, your team is as big as your passion and the vision that you can set. People will rally around you when you can actually display passion and vision. Next slide, please. And so how are organizations transforming in this future of work? We are moving, as Dr. King said, Professor King said, from profit to purpose. We cannot just think that organizations exist to make profit. They have the responsibility and the onus to actually go into purpose, to doing better for society, better for our environment, and making a difference to be sustainable on our planet. And every organization needs to be able to display their purpose. We need to move from hierarchies to networks. No, abandon your job titles, guys. If you're in senior leadership and you're getting so impressed with your job title, you know, my job title is Vice President of Human Resources for Unilever Africa. When I got this title, I was on a phone call and I was saying this to someone, and my son, who was only about 6 years old at the time, he had just started school, said, he went to school and he said, my mom's the president of Unilever Africa. So clearly that was wrong. By the time his friend got home and said that to his mom, who's a friend of mine, he said, guess what? Johan's mom is the president of Africa. Clearly got that wrong. So abandon your job titles, abandon your status. I call myself the people escalator because that gives me different meaning. It means that my job is entirely about making others better and lifting them up and saying positive things. It gives me a different sense of who I am in the role that I do. We're moving away from controlling to empowering. You're never going to be able to control everything. So if you're a leader here and you're thinking your job is to manage and control, you're living in the past. You're never going to be able to control it. You need to set a clear vision, and you need to set the what. But the how and the why it happens needs to come from your team. And you really need to trust and empower. The other thing you need to move away from is planning everything to the nth degree. You know those Gantt charts, those project management charts? Those are becoming obsolete. We really need to start thinking about where can things go if we experiment it differently. And how can we pivot and change into the moment when things don't work? Celebrate the failure, learn from it, and move quickly. That's where the world is going. And from privacy to transparency. How many of you worry about, can I really send this as my intellectual property? Can I really send this off to somebody? Maybe I should hold on to this information, it's sensitive. Guess what? It's not so sensitive. Everything I'm telling you right now, you can Google it tomorrow. None of this is sensitive, so you have my presentation straight off the cuff. Just move to transparency. You are not that special, guys. We are not that special. We are co-creating. Next slide. But it does mean that if the organization is transforming in that way, then our leadership mindsets also need to be challenged and transformed. And my provocation is the more digital we get, the more human we need to become as leaders. And so there are 5 themes that I want to tell you about. The number 1 theme is going to be caring. Maybe you care for your employees, maybe you don't. Maybe you want to just get a job done. But wherever you are in your progress of caring, dial it up and care more. Care more about your employees, more about their health, more about their families, more about their wants and needs, more about what drives them and motivates them. Number 2, connecting. Connect the dots in the organization. That is your sole purpose as a leader, is connecting the dots and bringing people together. Then make them collaborate. Make them work together to one common vision. Then have an obsession with curiosity, wanting to learn more. Never be that person who knows it all. Be the person who wants to learn it all. Because you have to constantly be on this journey of learning. And finally, capacity. Your job as a leader is to unlock capacity, to break down the barriers and to make things simpler. So these are the 5 themes, and I've made it easy and used 5 C's. So you can walk away with 5 C's, and I'm quickly going to go through each one of them. So next slide, please. The first one is caring. And I want to talk about well-being. It's a big theme in our organization, in our workplace today. And it is something that you can just put a quick PowerPoint presentation to the board and say, this is how we're going to do it. We can have a wellness day, we're going to bring discovery here, and they're going to do all that and think the job's done. Well-being is much, much deeper. You have to think of physical well-being. Sorry guys, the charts are not coming up so nicely here, but I will get it sent to everyone. Physical well-being. And you can't tell your employees to take time and go to the gym. You can't do that. You can't tell them to run in the mornings. You have to show them. So I also climbed Kilimanjaro 5 years ago, and I've done a number of other things. I've signed for the August, I've done every year I have a goal. This year, my goal was to climb Mont Blanc in France, and I've trained the whole year. And our EVP for Africa got up in our town hall, as probably as big as this, and when I told him I'm going on some leave and I had to tell him why, I didn't tell the rest of the organization why. He stood up in a town hall like this and he said, Michelle's going to climb Mont Blanc. And so the entire organization knew what I was up to, and I thought, holy cow, what do I do now? So now I can't keep it a secret. And so we did go to Mont Blanc, my partner and I, and guess what? I didn't get to climb the mountain. Because there was a snowstorm and they pretty much shut the mountain down. So we didn't get to climb Mont Blanc, huge disappointment. But also a nice excuse to say, look, I came all this way, I was going to climb it, I didn't train, look, it's fine, you know? That fear of saying, oh, I didn't actually achieve my goal. But I thought to myself, you know, we made this so public in the workplace. I can't leave it there. So guess what? I found out which is the one mountain that is open in the Alps that will allow me to climb. And that was in Italy. It was Gran Paradiso. And so we hopped over to Italy that week. And without knowing anything about the mountain, I actually started climbing Gran Paradiso. The weather was still not very good, but we got up to 3,600 meters. I hadn't told my team that I was doing this, but when I messaged them in the end, the amount of support that I got and the comments that people made, and they talked about resilience. They talked about the fact that I didn't give up. And you have to demonstrate that. You can't teach resilience. You can't tell people to look after their health. You have to demonstrate it as a leader. You have to show them that you can take time to go to the gym. That work sometimes has to wait so that you can actually take care of the physical well-being. Purposeful well-being, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but we had a fantastic presentation about purpose, about the why, and that people can be anchored in the workplace around the why, which gives them the energy. Mental well-being. This is a huge theme, and this year there was a massive theme around suicide. You know, the amount of stress you see, and as HR practitioners, we get to see very privileged information that the rest of the business can't see. You know, I had a few cases where people are popping pills just to be able to make it into the office, just to be able to come there and give off their best. They are anxious, so they're taking anti-anxiety medication. they're depressed, so they're taking anti-depression medication. We need to make it okay for people to be in our organization, and that's going to take psychological safety. We can allow people to be psychologically safe to be in the workplace. And the final one is emotional well-being. And that is, again, around psychological safety, that people can feel free to speak their minds. We're talking about fearless leadership, but if you don't give people the space to speak up, every one of you can speak up. Because when you go home to your families or you're at a rice stand and you want to complain about something, you can speak up. There's no doubt in my mind that you can speak up. It's whether you have the psychological safety in the workplace to allow you to speak up that matters. And so are you creating that in the workplace as well? Next slide, please. So in relation to the why, and the image unfortunately is not coming up here, but basically, my purpose is unlocking dignity for Africans by mobilizing our voice for change. It took a 5-day workshop for me to come up with that one statement. Every word in there has meaning to me. Every word in that statement. I talk about dignity because living on the African continent, there are only some of us who manage to live with dignity. There are many people who are robbed of basic conditions, like hygiene, like water, like education. That's not okay. It's not okay that we don't give back to society. So it's unlocking dignity for Africans by mobilizing our voice for change. And you might ask, how do I do that in my HR role? How do I do that in my work environment? Well, I'm doing it right now. I'm building leaders, African leaders for Africa. That's what I say, building African leaders for Africa. Because if I can leave you with one message today, then I've done my job. Okay, so what are you giving back? How are you empowering? How are you instilling belief on our continent? Is really important. Next slide, please. The next one is connecting. We're not going to be able to increase headcount. Come, let's be real, guys. Every organization is trying to downsize, right-size, save money, all of that. So you're not going to necessarily be able to go on a radical recruitment unless you're a startup, unless you're growing phenomenally. And maybe you'll be able to increase a couple of FTEs. So how do you think about your organization today? Who's in your organization? And unless you're connecting the dots that your actual talent economy is freelancers, are partnerships between government, academics, and business. It could be flex working. It could be your alumni. It could be your retirees. They could be in your talent economy. So we need to be thinking differently about our employment practices, about our employment contracts, and what that means. So I urge you to think about how many people are you connecting with and bringing into your workspace to deliver a piece of work. Next, please. And then collaborating. On the right-hand side is typically how we've learned as HR people to draw organograms. Is that right? You love these. In fact, there's even a PowerPoint tool and all sorts of tools that can do it automatically for you now. So you feel very good that you can just draw an organogram very quickly. Well, forget it and delete that app if you've got it. Because organizations don't actually work like that. How things are now, we are trying to be more networked. So then we developed a matrix organization. You're responsible to this person, but you're actually accountable to that person, and you report to this person, and we try and make it, but actually we just confuse ourselves, right? Aren't matrix organizations difficult at the moment? But really how things work. How things work is when we're constantly connected, and we're surrounded on a common purpose. We come together on a common purpose or a common goal for a defined period of time, and then we disperse and be part of another team. We keep going into different networks. And that means sometimes you're the leader, but sometimes you're just a member of the team. And you'll be able to do that. There are many times where I lead, and there are many times where I'm a member of the team, I come in to participate, give feedback, and do a piece of work. And you need to be comfortable with that. Next slide. And this is the one that I think I've heard before. You said this. The number of times people say, I haven't got time for that. I haven't got time. What is the cost of not having time to talk to your employees? What is the cost of not having time to coach? What is the cost of not having time to empower? Not having time to give direction? not having time to care, you will lose your employees. Your attrition will be high. People don't leave organizations. They leave their leaders because they're not getting enough from their leaders. You need to tell your leaders this in the organization as well. That saying they don't have time for coaching, unfortunately, is not on. Then that's a display of their leadership. Next, please. Curiosity. Have the curiosity. Constantly be learning. Have a development goal for yourself. Have a development plan and foster lifelong learning. I'll give you an example. In this digital age, by the age of 9, my son had a tablet, he had a cell phone, he had a PlayStation. Yeah, he is a sports kid, I'm kidding, but he had all these things, and he was constantly interacting with it. And I became a little worried because he was on his tablet all the time, and he was learning, he was doing stuff on this tablet. And the one day he said to me, "Mom, can I have a Rubik's Cube?" I got so excited. I really was so excited. My son wants something tangible that is a toy, and he wants to play with it. So I went out immediately and I bought him a Rubik's Cube. And when I came back, I put it on the table, and he said, "Thanks, Mom," and he went back to his tablet. I was completely deflated. I was like, what is going on here now? And slightly annoyed. So I went back to him and I said, "Rohan, what are you doing? I just bought you a Rubik's Cube. You wanted to play with it." And he said to me, "Mom, I'm learning the algorithms." He had been learning the algorithms on YouTube video for how to solve the Rubik's Cube. In my day, I played with the thing, trial and error for hours and hours, and when it really frustrated me, I started peeling off the stickers and cheating. That's what I did. He was learning the algorithms. So don't be fooled by saying our millennials in the workplace are entitled. They want to move faster through the organization, results that are quicker. So embrace that side of millennials, rather than judging them for some of the characteristics that they don't have. And that will come with maturity. They will learn to collaborate more and do things. But are you curious enough? Are you learning enough? How many YouTube videos are you watching? How much are you reading? How much are you participating in debates and discussion? Constantly be curious. Next slide. And then the whole idea around servant leadership and ruthless prioritization. In a world that is so networking, so chaotic, we can actually keep adding work. We can keep telling people to do more. But if we don't tell them what they've got to stop doing to create capacity, we don't do our job. So cut through the crap. Make it simpler. Be the negotiator between who's asking them for various things. Help them ruthlessly prioritize, and you'll go a long way in having happy employees in the organization. Next slide. And I want to reimagine the employment contract. You know, the one that says your working hours are between 8 and 4:30, our disciplinary code is this, your job title is that, and your salary is XYZ, which will be reviewed based on management discretion at this date. That's the employment contracts we have, right? What if the employment contract said, would you like to be a part of an organization that brings about positive change in the workplace, with employees and society? Would you like to live your purpose? Would you like to develop learning agility? Would you like to improve your well-being? Would you like to feel included and embrace change? Have you got the self-agency to impact the business and the world at large? And would you like to have fun? If the answer to all of this is yes, then sign here. And that should be the employment contract. That should be the employment contract that we have with employees today. And my last chart is a poem, which is kind of an adaptation of the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. And it says, instead of a company, you had a community, you led a community. Instead of employees, you had internal social activists. Instead of people in the payroll, colleagues behaved as volunteers. Instead of a mission, you had a cause. Instead of a culture, you had a social movement. Instead of leaders, you had a broker. instead of asking people why they left, you ask them why they're still here. Then, yours is the earth and everything in it. And which is more, you'll be a new leader, my son or daughter. Thank you.
Hello, here we go. Thank you. Did you guys enjoy that one? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I've got a few questions for you, Michelle. Who's Michelle? Let's spell like Mechell. Nice name, though. Well, spelled that way. Okay, so I've got a question here for you, Ricky, from the audience. Lots of questions, but we're going to keep it close because I know you need to run and get into a plane to somewhere else. So, quick one from MJ in the audience. How can I change the mindset of staff who are not motivated to do their job? Motivation levels are high when it's payday. Did all the C's, what can I do now?
Motivation is an interesting thing, and it changes. My motivation when I was a young mom and how I showed up at work versus my motivation now that my kids are quite grown up is different. So don't think there's a one-size-fits-all with employees. I really think you have to connect with each individual and say what's really important to them. And knowing that and being able to accommodate that at some level, the tiniest gesture to show that you're accommodating their needs and you're listening to them leads to discretionary effort. It then says, well, you've done this for me, I'm willing to give more. And every time I've tapped into what this person particularly wants, and sometimes it's somebody who wants to get to gym and only get into the office at 9 o'clock. For other people, it's about not doing the same thing repetitively and wanting to work on projects. So giving them diversity in what they do. Know what that is with each individual. Then contract with that individual that you'll do something about it. And once you do something about it, almost always you'll get back discretionary effort. And people will want to deliver. The other thing is just find out what about their job is really draining them. Sometimes it's not the job itself. It's just aspects of the job that's really draining. And they'll tell you things about how that work is getting done. Like they've been asked to do a report that takes them 2 days. And you may not know it. So when you ask for the report, you think it's something so simple they should be able to turn up, only to find out that they've got to draw their information from 5 different sources. And so it takes them 2 days. But by listening and tuning in on that, you can unlock a whole lot for your employees.
Cool. Maggie is asking, you can hand clap after the question is answered. Maggie is asking, how do we retain millennials if the organization is constrained with resources that are needed to meet their needs?
So my first answer to that is don't try to retain millennials. Don't try to retain anyone. People must want to stay with you. So which means what you should focus on is your work meaningful enough? Are you energizing people enough in the workplace? And are you using their talents enough? Because then they will stay with you. And if they go, that's also okay. Because I've had many cases where in Unilever people have left us. But they've left us and they've gone and grown in other organizations. And then they've either given me a call back saying, I really want to come back to Unilever, I love the environment and I want to contribute, which is great if we have an opportunity. Or they go on to be leaders in other companies that I can collaborate with. Many of my collaborations right now with other businesses are with people who are ex-Unilever people that I've now got a network with. So I think don't fear the fact that people are leaving. But ask yourselves, what are you doing that's causing them to leave and work on those problems?
Just one more. How do you still achieve a matrix-based organization within constraints of HR systems, job descriptions, grading practices, etc.?
Sure, I do a whole talk on this one, so I don't have a lot of time. But one of the things I say is I was a master at writing job descriptions back in the day. I wrote job descriptions for global supply chain and so forth, and I tell my team today, do not write a single job description. Because it's constraining. If you say this is your job, then by definition everything else is not your job. And then we say people must be lifelong learners, and they must experiment, and they must work in different projects. The two don't go together. So actually abandon job descriptions, We've abandoned the 9-box matrix. How many of you use the 9-box matrix? We've abandoned it because it does not unlock potential. You're saying you are here, but you are here, and you are here. So you're boxing people, does not unlock potential. We this year are abandoning ratings. So guys, some of these traditional HR practices that made you feel so scientific and so numbers orientated and everything, they've had their sell-by date. The new world of work doesn't work like that. We need to work with people's passion and their capacity, and we need to move them. We need to be extremely agile in how we're working and moving people to certain flows of work and where their passion lies. So I don't know if I've answered the question, but it's a lot to
It's
say.
perfect. I'm just choosing the hot ones, right? So I'm not going to ask any more questions, but just read some statements from the audience into Zylo. A wonderfully inspirational presentation by a very impactful woman, very inspired. And then there's one here that says, "You are simply amazing." That's anonymous. Please
Thank you, Anonymous.
And IPM, the board, and all the delegates here would like to thank you for that wonderful presentation, strong presentation, and being strong-footed in what you stand for.